Welcome back to Don't Just Sit There, Do Something, for climate news, climate science, and easy ways to help. I'm your host, Joylette Portlock, and today we're going to talk about an economic concept with big consequences for the climate. It's called the tragedy of the commons. That sounds more like Shakespeare than economics. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. But drama aside, if a resource that's owned by everyone gets abused, then everyone gets something taken away. As Americans, we love our independence, but there are still many things we value that are public property. The commons is anything we all automatically share. One classic example of this is waterways. If enough people wash away dirty messes in our streams and rivers, they won't be streams and rivers anymore, they'll be sewers. We don't want to turn our rivers into sewers, and we shouldn't want to turn our atmosphere into an oven. Well, we may be sharing, but I don't think most people are thinking about sharing anything. Humans are putting more and more carbon pollution into the air we all share by burning oil, coal, and natural gas for transportation and power. This pollution is already causing worldwide climate instability that, among other things we don't want, increases the chance of floods, wildfires, and heat waves. Maybe all our viewers will just leave and watch something more uplifting, like coverage of the war in Syria. If you'd prefer the animated Fuzzy Bunny version of this, yes, I would prefer that. There's a great game to explain the concept online at bunnygame.org. So cute! Gotcha! Oh, my bunnies! Looking at what's happening to the commons is an easy way to figure out if our actions have a greater cost than we thought. In late July, the citizens of Detroit found that out the hard way when giant clouds of black dust blew across the Detroit River. The clouds came from a giant pile of coal that was left there, probably illegally, by a company run by oil barons Charles and David Koch. You mean Randolph and Mortimer Duke? I bite my thumb at you, sir. The coal, called pet coke, is a byproduct of refining oil from the Canadian tar sands. The 3-story tall, city block long pile, which violated permit requirements by not having one, has been removed after a city order to an unknown location in Ohio. The reason to regulate carbon pollution through Environmental Protection Agency action or laws like cap and trade or a carbon tax isn't to stick it to business owners. Regulations create incentives for those companies to stop wrecking the commons for the rest of us. That's the real point of every climate bill that has ever been proposed. Basically, if it's not someone's job, built into someone's bottom line to protect the commons, then the commons get trashed and all cute bunnies are lost for all time. And when that happens, as is currently happening with man-made climate change, it's tragic. People are actually trying to say that the honor system is all we need? Who? Victories are possible, however. In recent years, stronger air pollution rules have already started changing the bottom line for some of our nation's oldest and dirtiest coal plants, shutting them down and creating victories for the commons and the climate. If you want to help turn climate tragedy into victory, don't just sit there. Do something. There's a lot we can all do to make a difference, so here are 2 easy actions, one at an individual level and one at a larger level. According to the EPA, reducing just half of our junk mail could eliminate about as much carbon pollution as the entire country of Ecuador produces in a year, not to mention the effect on litter. So do yourself and the climate a favor and opt out of all the mail you don't want. Click the links below for some easy ways to do it in minutes. Even though I'm sure you're recycling your junk mail, it's still better for the environment if it was never produced in the first place. Secondly, the mess in Detroit is only one example of the way that tar sands oil from Canada is damaging our shared environment. Canadian tar sands oil is devastating for the climate. If President Obama approves construction of the proposed Keystone XL oil pipeline, a completely unacceptable amount of climate pollution will be unleashed on the world. Obama has promised to reject construction of the Keystone XL pipeline if it is shown that it will damage our climate, which it will. Let's hold him to that promise. Click the link below to insist that Obama reject the Keystone XL pipeline and protect our common resource of climate stability. Insist Obama reject the Keystone XL pipeline and cancel your junk mail. In other words, don't just sit there. Don't just sit there. Don't just sit there. Do something. Thanks for tuning in. Next time we're going to talk about the effect our diets have on the climate. We know many of you have been waiting for this one. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, iTunes, or on the web at djst.tv. So watch again and tell your friends.